Ramiah Griffin, a vibrant 20-year-old mother from Baldwin, Pennsylvania, seemed to have it all: a beautiful baby girl, a loving family, and a picture-perfect relationship with her boyfriend Adeline. Their social media pages were filled with countless videos and photos showcasing their affection for each other and their adorable daughter. To the outside world, Ramiah and Adeline appeared to be the epitome of young love. They frequently shared playful dance routines, tender family moments, and heartfelt declarations of their devotion. Their followers couldn't help but be captivated by the infectious joy and connection that radiated from their online presence. The strength of Ramiah and Adeline's relationship was praised by family and friends, who saw them as an example of what a happy and healthy partnership could look like. Some married people own homes, have children, and are all involved in companies. With their small daughter, they appeared to be the ideal couple, creating a lovely life together. However, as is often the case, the image presented on social media didn't always reflect the full reality of their life together. Behind the filters and carefully curated moments, the young couple faced challenges and struggles that they kept hidden from public view. Despite this, those closest to Ramiah had no reason to suspect that her relationship with Adeline was anything other than loving and supportive. He was a constant and welcome presence at family gatherings, effortlessly charming Ramiah's relatives with his warm demeanor and clear devotion to her and their child. They treated him like family, whether it was at family dinners or during birthdays. He was always there. The couple's social media presence was a testament to their seemingly unbreakable bond. They shared countless photos and videos documenting their journey as young parents, from the excitement of Ramiah's pregnancy to the joyful chaos of life with a newborn. These glimpses into their life together painted a picture of a couple deeply in love, navigating the challenges and triumphs of parenthood with grace and humor. To those who followed their story online, Ramiah and Adeline appeared to have it all figured out. Their lives seemed perfectly in sync, adoring parents with a close-knit family, balancing work and parenting with ease, and sharing joyful moments filled with laughter and love. They were the embodiment of what many aspired to be, a couple who had built a life of harmony and stability. On social media, their posts showcased happy outings, milestones, and tender family moments, each carefully curated to present an ideal image of their life together. But beneath the glossy surface, the reality was far more complicated. As their daughter grew, so did the weight of their responsibilities. The sleepless nights, the endless feedings, the tantrums, and the constant demands of a young child began to take a toll. What had once been a shared vision of parenthood soon turned into an unrelenting test of endurance and patience. Slowly but steadily, cracks began to form in the foundation of their once unshakable relationship. The seemingly endless laughter and joy that once defined their connection started to fade, replaced by moments of frustration, silent exhaustion, and lingering disagreements. For Ramiah, it was a heartbreaking realization that the fairy tale future she had envisioned for her little family would never come to pass. But even in the midst of her pain and disappointment, Ramiah remained dedicated to being the best mother she could be. She poured all of her love and energy into caring for her daughter, finding solace and purpose in the precious moments they shared together. Sadly, Ramiah would never get the chance to watch her baby girl grow up. On February 9, 2024, the young mother's life was cut tragically short in an act of unimaginable violence. Police eventually made the horrific discovery when they responded to a shots-fired report. There, in the bedroom of Ramiah's apartment, they found the 20-year-old child lying lifeless, her body riddled with 12 bullet wounds. The walls and floors of the bedroom were splattered with blood, a testament to the violence that had unfolded in that once peaceful space. It was a sight no parent should ever have to see, a nightmare made real in the cruel light of day. Perhaps even more heartbreaking than the state of Ramiah's body was the discovery of her 1-year-old daughter, alone and helpless, in another room of the apartment. The innocent child, too young to understand the tragedy that had befallen her family, had been left to fend for herself for nearly 13 hours in the presence of her murdered mother. The idea of that helpless child, confused and scared, crying out for a mother who could no longer comfort her, is almost too painful to contemplate. The trauma she endured in those long, lonely hours is something that will likely stay with her for the rest of her life. Miraculously, Ramiah's daughter was physically unharmed in the aftermath of the shooting, but the emotional scars of that horrific day will undoubtedly run deep, shaping the course of her young life in ways that are impossible to predict. Ramiah Griffin was a mother to a 1-year-old daughter. It was reported she was shot 12 times in her own home and in front of that child. For Ramiah's family, the discovery of their loved one's death and the heartbreaking state of her orphaned child was a moment of unimaginable shock and grief. They struggled to comprehend the senseless violence that had shattered their world, the cruelty that had stolen a bright young life and left an innocent baby behind to suffer. In the days and weeks that followed, as the police investigation into Ramiah's murder unfolded, her loved ones grappled with the weight of their loss and the long road to healing that lay ahead. Even in their darkest moments, the Griffin family remained steadfast, bound together by their love for Ramiah and their unwavering determination to seek justice on her behalf. Each memory of her warmth, her laughter, her resilience, served as a reminder of the life they had lost, fueling their desire to bring the person responsible to light. But the question that gnawed at them day and night was simple yet overwhelming. Who could have committed such a heinous act, and why? Who could have looked into the eyes of that beautiful, vibrant young mother full of dreams and hope for her future, and pulled the trigger, leaving her child alone, abandoned, and grieving? The thought haunted them. How could someone take so much from one person, leaving behind such pain and destruction? Ramiah had always carried a light wherever she went, a warmth that drew people in, a spirit that radiated kindness and strength. Her laughter had been contagious, her smile genuine, and her love for her daughter endless. She was more than a mother. She was a dreamer, a fighter, someone who believed in building a better future for herself and her child. The sheer cruelty of what had happened seemed beyond comprehension. How could anyone, with the opportunity to witness her warmth and beauty, choose to snuff out such life in an act of violence? The loss was not just of a woman. They had lost so much more. They had lost someone who embodied hope, someone who stood as a symbol of resilience. Ramiah had been a mother whose presence made her daughter feel safe, loved, and valued. Now, that same little girl was left to navigate a world without her, forced to grow up in the shadow of a tragedy she would never fully understand, yet would feel deeply. As time passed and fragments of information began to surface, the pieces of the puzzle began to slowly fall into place. Clues, once dismissed, suddenly began to weave together, revealing a deeper, more chilling truth. The closer they got to uncovering the truth, the more agonizing it became. The answer was more shocking and painful than anyone could have ever anticipated. A betrayal from someone they had once trusted, someone whose dark intentions had quietly lurked beneath the surface. The realization hit them like a gut-wrenching blow. Ramiah's death had not been random. It had been fueled by jealousy, fueled by hatred, and most of all, fueled by an all-consuming desire for power and control. And the person responsible wasn't just an outsider. It was someone from within their own circle, someone they had shared moments of friendship, someone who had played a role in their lives. This revelation sent waves of disbelief, anger, and sorrow through the family. The idea that someone they knew, someone they had once called friend, could have done something so vile, tore at the very fabric of their hearts. It was a betrayal on a scale beyond anything they could have imagined. A betrayal not just to Ramiah, but to all they had once believed about trust and loyalty. It was a slow and agonizing journey for Ramiah's family as they tried to piece together the puzzle of what had happened to their beloved daughter. In the days that followed Adeline's arrest, they endured countless sleepless nights, reliving every memory, questioning every moment, hoping for clarity, and seeking answers that might never come. The weight of their grief was unbearable. And yet, it was the enduring pain of the baby girl left without her mother that drove them forward. Ramiah's mother, Angela, found herself caught in a whirlwind of emotions: anger, sadness, and disbelief. Her heart ached for the daughter she had raised with so much love, the vibrant young woman who had always found joy in every moment. The thought of her daughter's life cut short, and the terror she must have felt in those final moments haunted her day and night. Yet, despite the overwhelming loss, Angela remained steadfast in her determination to protect Ramiah's child at all costs. She understood that justice was not just about punishment. It was about ensuring that Ramiah's daughter would grow up knowing she was deeply loved, cherished, and never alone. Throughout this trying time, Ramiah's family drew strength from each other. They banded together, leaning on old friends, neighbors, and the tight-knit community of Baldwin, Pennsylvania, who had known Ramiah from birth. Kind strangers offered their support, dropping off food and supplies, helping with funeral arrangements, and attending the vigil held in her honor. They remembered Ramiah as someone who had a smile that could light up a room, someone whose presence made even the darkest days feel a little warmer. The Baldwin Borough Police Department acted swiftly in response to the tragic news of Ramiah's death. Officers set up a command center in the heart of the neighborhood, ensuring that all leads could be managed efficiently. A team of detectives, forensic experts, and community outreach officers was immediately dispatched to collect evidence, interview witnesses, and canvass the surrounding area. Neighbors were approached, homes were searched, and security cameras in nearby establishments were checked for any signs of suspicious activity. The department was determined to uncover the truth behind this sudden and heartbreaking loss. As the investigation unfolded, crucial pieces of evidence began to surface. Security footage from a local convenience store provided the first glimpse of key moments leading up to Ramiah's disappearance. Phone records belonging to both Ramiah and Adeline revealed frequent contact between them in the days prior, raising questions about their relationship. In addition, numerous tips from concerned community members began to paint a clearer picture of events, giving investigators fresh leads to pursue. Several elements emerged as focal points for the detectives. One of the most compelling was the shared car between Ramiah and Adeline, which was spotted parked near a secluded trail frequently used by locals. Another point of concern was the growing tension between Ramiah and Adeline over custody arrangements, as the two had begun to argue in public places, with friends witnessing heated discussions about their child's future. Investigators paid close attention to these interactions, seeing them as possible motives for what had transpired. In the days following Ramiah's death, Adeline appeared visibly distraught and made a point to engage with the community publicly. At first, his grief seemed genuine. He offered condolences to friends and neighbors, spoke of his love for Ramiah, and expressed his disbelief in numerous interviews with local media. To outsiders, Adeline appeared as a heartbroken partner, deeply affected by the sudden loss. However, suspicions began to surface as Adeline's behavior during the days leading up to and after the funeral became increasingly erratic. During Ramiah's service, while others were visibly mourning, Adeline put on a solemn facade, but was observed comforting friends with unnatural ease. He asked detectives probing questions about the investigation, raising eyebrows among law enforcement. His calm demeanor in such a solemn moment struck many as suspicious. As detectives delved deeper, a clearer, more concerning picture began to emerge. Social media accounts, combined with interviews from neighbors, started revealing a different side of Adeline, one that was manipulative and controlling. Multiple witnesses recalled arguments where Adeline displayed volatile outbursts, showing a darker side beneath his outward grief. Moreover, certain community members claimed they overheard heated exchanges between Adeline and Ramiah regarding financial disputes and custody, further fueling investigators' doubts. During Ramiah's funeral, Adeline's actions did not go unnoticed by the grieving community. While others openly wept and offered words of support to Ramiah's family, Adeline was seen walking among attendees with a composed yet unsettling demeanor. He offered comfort to mourning friends, whispering soothing words, but his smile appeared forced and disconnected from the sorrow surrounding him. More concerning, he lingered near the casket, occasionally taking odd pauses as if scrutinizing the mourners. As the investigation unfolded, crucial pieces of evidence began to surface. Security footage from a local convenience store provided the first glimpse of key moments leading up to Ramiah's disappearance. Phone records belonging to both Ramiah and Adeline revealed frequent contact between them in the days prior, raising questions about their relationship. In addition, numerous tips from concerned community members began to paint a clearer picture of events, giving investigators fresh leads to pursue. Through a meticulous investigation that combined witness interviews, the analysis of surveillance footage, and technological evidence, detectives uncovered the chilling truth behind the murder. Their efforts pointed to 22-year-old Adeline as the primary suspect. Adeline, a long-distance truck driver, was on his way to North Carolina when authorities reached out to him for questioning. Initially, he presented a confident alibi, asserting that he had last seen Ramiah on February 8th. His calm demeanor suggested no cause for suspicion. However, the investigative team soon unraveled his claims. GPS tracking from his vehicle revealed discrepancies in his travel timeline, directly contradicting his story. Surveillance footage further dismantled his alibi, capturing Adeline in locations that aligned with the timeline of the crime. A deeper dive into the evidence revealed even more damning connections. Gunshot residue was discovered on items linked to Adeline, and investigators uncovered evidence that he had tampered with Ramiah's mother's car in an apparent attempt to obscure his tracks. Police pieced together a grim narrative of premeditation. They determined that Adeline had meticulously planned the murder, employing calculated measures to divert suspicion. By sabotaging the car and creating an illusion of being occupied with work, he sought to craft an airtight alibi. Yet, his careful plotting was undone by the trail of evidence he unwittingly left behind. Adeline was arrested and taken into custody, and formally charged with criminal homicide, as well as endangering the welfare of a child, marking a chilling turn in the investigation. Angela, Ramiah's mother, found herself pouring her energy into caring for the little girl left behind. Every morning, she woke up with the promise to make sure the child knew nothing but love and security. The baby, who was barely old enough to understand what had happened, was now the center of their world. It was a silent shared vow between Angela, Ramiah's sisters, and her close family. They would raise this child with the same values that Ramiah had held dear: kindness, strength, and a deep connection to community. Every night, after tucking the baby into bed, Angela would sit alone, staring at a photograph of Ramiah, her fingers tracing the edges of the picture. Memories of their conversations would flood back, talking about life, about love, about dreams for the future. Ramiah had always been full of hope, even when things seemed difficult. She spoke about building a future where she could provide a good life for her daughter, where she would never have to worry about her child going without. That future had been stolen, but now it was Angela's mission to make sure that dream came to life, even if it meant doing it alone. Before her death, Ramiah was subjected to emotional and physical abuse that took a heavy toll on her. Her abuser controlled her life in many ways, keeping her isolated from friends and family, using threats to keep her silent, and using financial power to make her feel dependent. This slowly wore down her self-confidence and left her feeling trapped, unable to find a way out. Women like Ramiah often face similar struggles. They deal with not just physical violence, but emotional abuse, constant belittling, fear of retaliation, and manipulation. Many fear losing their homes, financial stability, or even their children, making it difficult to leave. The lack of support and resources, combined with societal pressures to stay quiet, makes escaping abuse even harder. The tragedy of Ramiah's death reminds us that domestic violence is not just a personal problem, but a problem that demands action from society. We must create spaces where women feel safe to speak up, offer them protection, and support them as they seek to rebuild their lives. Only by working together can we prevent more tragedies and ensure that no woman has to suffer in silence. Thank you for watching our video. Share your thoughts with us in the comments section, and do not forget to like, share, and subscribe. Remember to hit the notification bell for more videos.